back. This is Dynasty, the podcast show. I'm your host, Ira Bush. I would like to say welcome to anybody going to watch this as new. Thank you for anybody that tunes in. I don't get a lot of views, but hopefully the message is getting spread properly and correctly. I'm trying to inform and I guess educate. It ain't really education. It's just in happening now. It's a lot going on. I had a big, it was a very hard weekend for my family. I'm just gonna run down quick what happened. Like I said last week, my godmother passed away. She ascended into heaven, and she will definitely be looking at us. She got a big presence here in Florida, all around the United States, and in other countries as well. She's very well known in the city she's from and was raised in, Sebring. That's where her ceremony was at. I got to see my two god brothers and my step god brother as well. So it was good to see those three guys, and just hopefully, they don't let what happened stop them from being great. And I just gotta know those are some of the people that I want to get back to touching regularly on basis, and it's been in the works for me because I have my own issues as well. Financially, the system actually attacked me a lot. It was I tell my story all the time about you know first and foremost, they put me on papers, the mother of my child did. Then it was another separate case that I have no clue how that got on my own record. So they really attacked me by, going to the courthouse and trying to take my license and strip me financially. I did my job as a coach. I did my job as a person in the community of working and helping others. That's the main thing that I was taught and trained to do as a young person, and I feel still strongly about that. I had bigger and more goals. I still have the biggest and better goals than what that person had who went to basically, went through, tried to go and backhand me through law, but it's not it wasn't never an issue because I took care of my child. I still have a big influence on her in her life to this day. Nothing she did stopped what I hit her, and whoever was committing fraud and was hating on me, that didn't stop me as well. So, whatever Broward County or state of Florida or anybody from any other state or country decide to go against me, there's nobody bigger than, the man above and the person that created this world. And I come from a strong lineage that's very closely related to God, very closely related to higher power beings. So, like I said, the strength is within, keep that strength within my brothers that lost their mother. And, I'm going to keep going. My mom's still here. And, I just want to speak on that. Like I say, I realize, my mom, she's in an okay space. She just lost somebody very close to her. But, a lot of people are very jealous of my mother. And, I don't like that energy because she's a very nice person. And she's very kind-hearted. She took a lot of time helping others and took away from me and my two sisters. She only had three. And I could guarantee she could have raised us three with her eyes closed. That's how strong and powerful my mom is. And, she be frustrated, but how, me and my sisters don't have what she pictured in her mind growing up, and, the kind of hard work she put in the workforce, the kind of effort she put in spitting knowledge and game to me and my sisters. She try to let us experience, but she also know that she doesn't want us to be harmed in the way. And, there's so many jealous and envious people, black and white. So, I gotta make that be known. People literally attack my mom, me, and my sisters off of he say, she say. And it was no evidence of, people dwelling in the dark and the negative and the nastiness, making deals with all kind of people just to get a piece of of high power beings and God, very closely related to God beings like me and my mom and sisters are. And I talk about this all the time. They attack my child, they attack my nieces and nephews. Those things are not forgotten. So I speak on these things. Hopefully, no hard, because I can't even tell you. I would never go into a spiritual realm to attack a person. And I just feel like, I hope no bad, hopefully what happened to my godmother was very natural, or, God just wanted her to be a big, a higher power being in a different realm. And, and she definitely had a lot of people in her service, and, it was here in Florida. So, and, during that, after the service, when everybody got together, ate, my mom told a lot of stories. She was able to speak at the service. I'm pretty sure she wanted to say more, but it was just hard for her to speak anyways. And she, just took a lot of courage and strength to even go up there. So, I could have told my few stories. That's just my godmother. That was just somebody very close to my mom. And to the way it is with our family, we have ties via my grandmother, because that was her stepfather. People in the cemetery was right around the corner. He was just like her second father to her. When her mom remarried, we got to see my great grandmother's on my mom's side burial site, and very stone tombstones, like the their stone was like the pyramid people. They got that big stone hanging up. It's not even in the ground. So I know it. My mom was like, it cost a lot of money to do those type of things back then, but that's the way their sites was over there in Sebring. That's the area never been stripped from like money. It's just a very rural country type area. It was filled of orange. That was one of the biggest places I seen. It was literally orange fields that people made money, earned money, and hopefully the fields are protected still. I didn't see. My mom said it's in the fall, and in the winters, but I don't see anything sprouting up yet. So hopefully they didn't mess up that area too bad. I know they did some damage to it, but hopefully the orange trees still grow over there. I know that keeps that the resources there, and the people staying in house to earn and make. So we used to go there all the time for Easter, Christmas break, summer breaks. Like we would go one or two, we'll go twice or 2 or 3 times, especially when we were very young. I remember just going traveling that way. My aunt coming this way, or my godmom, whatever y'all want to call it. She coming back to visit my mom back and forth. They see each other several times a year. So, it got a little bit more spread out. My aunt got, health wise. My mom moved south, but it was not hard for them to touch bases and call each other. So, I talk about this all the time. But I'm just, I got to also see my own god sister, and that's somebody else that's different from their tree, and that was good to see. And like I said, all them people are very close. I want same type of prosperity that I have towards my sisters and my cousins, and they about to stay in the same realm for me. I don't want nothing to happen to them. I want everything. I want productivity. I want success. I want health. I want wealth for them. And hopefully I can get more in touch with them on this regular basis. But it's very important. Family is very important to me. So I'll spend my time the first few minutes talking about that, and just I would suggest everybody do the same. You don't want nothing to happen to your family. Keep your thoughts in high spirits. Don't let the negativity deter you from what you have to do and accomplishing your goals. So yeah, I didn't get to watch a lot of sports. I did watch the being. I'm gonna talk about it. I talk entertainment, so I'm gonna talk a little entertainment early. So before I go to politics, I didn't get to watch none of the summer league games. I didn't watch no WNBA, but make sure y'all check that stuff out. It's not gonna be a long show today, but I want to stay consistent. I want to, be persistent on what the real, what's coming down. Because when I go to Washington D.C. at the end of this month, my show will be, I'm gonna be very honest when I get there. They just signed that bill we're gonna go right into politics. This is the segment for politics. They signed that bill over, and there was a quote. I was just reading a little. I play a lot of clips from the news stations, and he said that this will give him more power. You know, okay. Then he just had the meeting with I seen him have a meeting with what is Israel. The president or whatever they call him. I don't know what they say. I'm not even gonna feed into that. I got other stuff that I need to deal with here in Florida. I gotta make sure my grandfather and grandmother are protected properly. My grandma's doing better; she's walking. My grandfather, I need to make sure how I speak, it reflects him a lot. So hopefully things is better. A lot of people are jealous of my little sister because of her beauty. They do a lot of witch ass, cross-handed ass shit towards my sister, just because she's a beautiful person, just because she speaks with honesty, and they just jealous of her. They need to figure out, that's what I don't like. It's like how y'all want me. I can't really attack how I want to. I really don't like the men in this. And it's a lot of weak ass men. I really know they really in the bitch female realm. They're not really men. You know what I'm saying? They like to attack females and sim next to them and crab ass, flaw ass shit that I don't like. I would never put a female in front of me. Say, here, take on my bad energy and bad whatever the fuck they be believing in. I don't even believe in that. So I say to myself, because I ain't even got bad energy or bad. A female's blessed to have me. You know what I'm saying? They ain't the other way. Unless you coming in the same type. I don't really. Any female coming in with a bad karma, it's not going to affect me, and I will definitely pull you out of that because that shit ain't even the way it's set up for me. I'm very heavily protected by females already because I make sure the females in my family, they know I'm only a phone call away. I don't shy away from that. I'm not intimidated by nobody. I did a great job of staying in the field, staying in the realm. I don't have to do much. People check on me without me knowing. So, hopefully it don't get out of hand with it, sounding like I'm trying to be tough because I'm not super tough, but I know one-on-one, I'm not really intimidated by nobody. I'm a full-grown human being. I'm not weak at all. I don't even exercise because people attack my heart and spirit and stupid shit that I can't control, that I'm a man. So it's not even the same type of trying to figure out what's going on. Then it's government. A lot of this shit has to do with the government. How this shit has to do with hating ass, jealous females. You signed up for it. You got to stand up for their ass. And it ain't going to have nothing affecting me at the end. My child almost 18. I got 6-7 years till she graduates. So everything will come to fruition when that happens, definitely, if they ain't already came. So, that's my issue. Not, I can't, it's not even an issue really no more. It messed up my pockets, but it didn't mess up me. You know what I'm saying? And they're very jealous people that's envious, it was this whole little gay people taking over the real type crab ass shit going on. That was a problem. Females helping the fags, and that's a degenerate ass shit that I don't never see. And I ain't even like, oh no, go against the gays. You just gotta ignore the gays, and especially the men. I ain't even talking with females. I don't even know how y'all consider y'all being gay or liking the other side. That's one of the most natural things that happen. You birthing another woman, like it's not even. But a man, the way they gotta go, that step is like that's not you're not wired correctly. You're a female. And then it's men that think I don't know, you weren't even supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? It's like the dealings in the energy. It's getting a little bit better. I think and also with the the way it's set up, black men had to it's an energy where they were trained to say that like they're better than a woman, like, but you don't have the same job as a woman. So and then it's like this stigma, like I take care of myself fully. I wash my own clothes, I cook my own food, and I do a great job at both of those. I don't have no issues like that. But like, I don't have especially, I don't know what it is for. I probably got to definitely leave the state to find a real woman that will be, because it's so, I'm not like I don't know if I'm not kind of say I'm not trying to be popular, but I definitely think people see me around in Florida, especially in the main areas. So, and I speak publicly all the time. I've been speaking in the public eye since I've been coaching. So I don't know what people want me to do. So this is not hard for me to do. This is not no unnormal thing. I have pictures when I was 18 coaching, and I have interviewed when I was 21, 22 years old, whatever age I was, doing all-star games for the Little League and high school. I was not in the not under a rock or something. I'm doing this in Palm Beach, one of the biggest counties in the Florida. So, and I'm definitely known from Miami to there to where I graduated to my old neighborhoods, and this is sports. So, it's very small. Then I start talking about, when I was in high school, I was on the debate team. And a lot of those people still probably are heavily involved in politics. And that's like two different, way higher level entertainment is politics. I don't know what to call it. Because there's a lot of truth going on, a lot of lies going on. So, it's all how you decipher the information. And I try to put the information out for people to decipher. This is what a podcast is. This is how you publicly speak now. And I don't know. I'm good on both ends. I did not in those realms, I did not make trouble of, I did not make, people might be like, oh, I don't like him because he beat me, or he didn't hang with me, or some stupid shit like that. But that's about it. I ain't never really go at nobody on some, I want you not to win. I want you not to be good at what you're doing. It's competition. Like, if you win or lose, you win. But I won all the time. So I don't feel no bad ill will for nothing. And I'm only 30. I'm in my this is going to be my mid 30s coming up. If I go another year or two, I'm in my mid 30s. So I don't, hey, like I told y'all, it's only for far as financially at minimum 6 or 7 years. That's delayed me. I don't have to deal with her mother ever. I don't have to have her in a kind of protection realm with my child, because she's a very jealous person. She doesn't know how to move on. She doesn't know how to win without talking down. That's how she's signed to the other evil side, the corrupt side, the negative side. Like that's the sign and tell right there. And I'm actually saying this type of thing is actually making this person have strength and power. You get what I'm saying? This is making this person feel like you're not doing nothing. Like, this person literally has, I'm not saying she's untalented, but this person has never been able to do something like this. This person has never helped their community. Like, this is a female at that. You know what I'm saying? All she do is thinking about how she could get over on somebody. And that's not my energy. This person was talking completely opposite when she started talking with me. And that's a fact. That's the only way she even got over here in this whole realm over here. You know what I'm saying? This is big over here. I never have to stress really. Like, I have to deal with this person way over there harboring my child like some damn prize. Like, this person is weird. Like, I ain't making this up. So yeah, I'm thinking about family more, because I didn't spend this is show. I'm not really trying to give detail. This is more of me just thinking about, I don't want to talk like I know what was going on over there, and with my God. But I say I'm motivated always, but I have to go harder. I gotta go visit my people. I gotta get out of move. And it's like, I know why I'm not moving around. And then the more you move around, the more they're gonna say you're trying to be nosy, the more you're trying to get it. Kind of weirdo. The older you get, I'm not really, and I always felt that way when I was coaching. So I didn't. People used to tell me to come visit them. I'd be like, shit, I'll come, but I ain't gotta move fast as you tell me. I'm gonna come when I need it, when I got it, when I complete my coaching season, when I complete my all season training. This is when I get, what I'm saying? I was already. People don't check on what you actually need, so it's like it's not comprehending correctly. Like, it ain't balancing out. Your needs and my needs is two different things. I have a whole situation over here. You know what I'm saying? So, it's way clearer, way better now. I'm just happy me and my nephew finna start clicking, because he's at that age. I know he probably gonna play on my football team if I decide. I already got cleared and all that. But if I decide to like coach, if he decides to play, which he say he'll play if I coach him and all that, I gotta, pay for him. His mom said whatever, that's okay. But he play on my team. I really don't. He missed I guess the pre. It's still like this will be like will be considered his second year team, but he ain't played yet on tackle. So he's gonna have to get used to like form tackling, not missing assignments, understanding the game. He's missing that first year, But the way I coach, it's like I'm on the field with them, how I repeat things. And I know how many times they need to practice before they even get coherent with what they need to do. So it's not going to be a lot of hard stuff. It's going to be a lot of stunting and blitzing, on defense just to get them freed up to make a play. And then, that's basically how football is. And then when it comes to formation, I'm running the ball heavy. So I want him to feel comfortable. I want him to play quarterback. I don't want him to be, because they stopped me from playing. I could play Little League. Little League, let's just say this is the age where I hit like a big growth spurt and I had to play up every year or so. And they messed up what my position was supposed to be, which was linebacker and quarterback, clearly, or running back, either one. And I wasn't the fastest because I know how they manipulate your spirit. They manipulate. I ain't being funny when I talk about this stuff. How it was. I don't know how it is now, but I remember how fast I was all the way up until the age of like 8 or 9. I wasn't the fastest, but I was definitely like, what do you say? Like, I was in the top 5. So probably like 9, 8. Like going into being 9, they really messed up my speed. I don't know how I came back down to life, but I was blazing when I was a G. I had the runners, and I know my cousins, they were super athletes. I was right there with her. My sister was fast. I beat her. She ran track, my older sister, and my little sister was just a baller. She could catch and play basketball since she was this little. So, that stuff runs in our blood. Now the athletic ability, jumping, catching, playing ball, playing defense, my length, my arm length and quickness has never been still at this weight. I could still hoop. I played a game yesterday down there in Boca. I went up there and came right back. Went to Patrick where I coached Boca Jets. I went up there, came right back because I lost, but I had like 3 or 4 points. A couple steals. I had my stats checked out. You feel me? But we have the open shots that should have been made, we didn't make them, so the game was a little lopsided. I think we lost like 5-11 or 4 or 6, something like that. It was like 5-11. I ain't mad. They was playing. I came late. They usually play early in the morning, starting at like 8. I went out there like 10. So everybody was gassed. I probably went on a team that wasn't as good as everybody's. You know how that goes. Just come on at the end. I just left. I went in. I played my game. I was like, my stats looking good. My shot was okay. I hit a 3 or I had a mid range. I think I missed 2 mid range I should have made, but it was cool. I got a little run in. And 1-on-1, I don't beat a lot of people from Tampa to Hood. So anybody on the course, I be trying to smoke them. Definitely over there with my mom stay in Palm Beach. Anybody around the corner, anybody up the street, they know they got blowed out. So, and this 1-on-1. So I was over there. I was shooting 1,000 threes for a good 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks straight. That was about a year and a half ago. So I still, I try to get active, but a lot of people I used to play ball with, they not even in the area no more, or they just busy, they got stuff doing. So I don't really trip about it. I try to stay active. They got a league in Lake Worth down here, right where I'm at. But I gotta coach my basketball team at the same time. So I couldn't even, I was mad. I was like, damn, I would have signed up for that. It was a 30. They don't usually do 30. They do like 40, and then they do like the teenagers and down to that still want to play recreation. They don't usually have the 30-year-olds. So that would have been lit just to play in that league. But I'm active as a coach, man. I can't. I'm not even complaining. I got to get some stuff, certification, recertified, and that's gonna happen by the end of this month. I know how it is. They not gonna let me on the field unless I get at high school level, and I should have that stuff done by in a week or 2. If I find a team, because they should be in 2-a-days in a week or 2, and everybody should be in camp working out literally now. Usually from what they used to do 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., 6 p.m., depending on what school you at in that range, where it's throughout the county, over here. There's people working out all the time. Usually a good coach will split out, start 2-a-days in July, and it ain't gotta be mandatory for mandatory is only 1 day, 2.5 hours, 3 hours And what we learned when I was down in Forest, once we got the program up and running, we used to be in there probably the whole day. And the head coach would be there. He didn't go. We didn't even have a break really. Like when we got really like my third year coaching, and it was probably my second year going into my third. The first year was tough. The second year it was lit. It was their third year with my coaching staff that brought me in their third year there. But that third year I was there, it was definitely on the wheels was rolling. So I'm talking about the second year, coach took it real serious. Um, we basically opened the gym right after. We was probably the first in the county to really do this. It was like probably throwback. Probably the gym used to be open without nobody messing with people, and there used to be a solid 10 to 20 people for every school. But Forest Hill had very losing, like the stench of losing was definitely there. So I think my second year we definitely won more than one game. So we got there. I was the JV head coach. And I think that year I beat Pahokee. My JV team beat Pahokee that year. I'm pretty sure it was my second year. And we were so it was so funny that my JV kids they was varsity players and they were young. So that's how young our program was though. Like our running back was the running back for JV and varsity that year. So, shout out to him. Joe Hearns. That guy would tote that rock. And I had my boy LaMarcus, who was Hall of Famer at Forest Hill. I think both of them made Hall of Fame. But them guys was tough. I think Marcus Frazier was a freshman that year. I don't remember. I just remember how many of those guys that was up the wall that second year that played that I coached, and it was very good that I got the. I don't even know if he might have even made the poke. I don't even think. I think that might have been. He might have even made that trip. That's how good he was. He ended up being him and Shannon Patrick was neck and neck for the best quarterback that ever touched that field. But Shannon Patrick left and graduated at Wellington, and he threw for 50 touchdowns. I used to tell Coach K all the time, let him start as a freshman. So I wanted him to be the man when he walked. He was so skinny though. He was like short. He had pretty good height. He had pretty good line. He could see over the thing. And I just remember how young them boys was. So it was some good times, man. I love how young I was coaching, and I got put in a position of leadership definitely at an early age. That's how it taught me a lot about responsibility. I was always on time. I was on time the whole time for it. I didn't even play at Forest Hill. I didn't shortcut nothing. Once I got to Olympic Heights, I was like, we was in Boca, and coaching staff had a lot of ties in over there. I wasn't even in competition, but I already had clout. I was coaching Boca Jets at that time. I wasn't really stunned on trying to be on no clout chasing. I just went to American Heritage, came from American Heritage. That's Derry and Boca. So I wasn't tripping about that. I went back to the staff that started. They was at Olympic Heights. So, I'm just thinking back. I had a good. I don't look at. I never felt like I was like not in a position of leadership. I don't know how to explain that. I was basically like I said, junior varsity. I was 18, got that position as a junior varsity head coach. I appreciate that. That's one of the best positions I could have that young in the high school realm. And I took advantage of just being that. I didn't take advantage in a negative way, just put it like that. And then when I went to Heritage, I kind of lowered my standards as a leader, kind of like just to try to learn from not in like I don't know if they were disrespecting me when I was around. They didn't disrespect me in my face, but it's just like they lowered my status as a coach when I went to go there to learn how to win a championship, because they were winning championships at Heritage, American Heritage Delray, and in Fort Lauderdale. With those schools, once you get there, you realize how connected they actually are. They got two different. They're two different, but they definitely come from the same that same trunk. So they over here, they over there, and then they got their own ways of private school is private school. They play each other sometimes. Sometimes they don't. But I got to visit the Fort Lauderdale campus. I don't remember why I went there. Oh yeah, a recruiting thing. I went in there. We had to talk to some coaches from over there. But I did a lot. I met a lot of high end college coaches during that time. You know, after I left, you know, I put a lot of time going to, I went to Florida State Coaches Clinic like 2 years in a row. I visited FAMU a few times. I met with the FAMU coaches while I went to the Florida State last time with that Florida State camp. And, Coach Taggart was there. They had the whole staff. I didn't like the way they, it probably was bigger stuff going on that I don't have real understanding of. But no, I got a lot of experience being out there. I was only in Tally. If I stayed in Tally for at least 5 years, I don't know about it. It's probably why the state of Florida do you in. You know how they'll do you in at the top with this finance stuff. But I didn't like how they was acting about paying me there. I was like, I'm over here coaching in the city already. That's all. But I'm working at one of the main cafes. I'm not even dwelling in the. I step out probably 2 or 3 times a week just to go stop in, see, in the environment. That's a party town. But I was going to like free events. I wasn't even trying to spend. I wasn't trying to be, bopping bottles. I'm not even on. I'm not even on that type of energy. I'm coming in the house by 2, ain't even staying out overnight and nothing. And I'm realizing, I was getting my opportunity, but I was like, man, I really need to get paid. It was like, wait till this, I'm like, this is what kind of weird, then the same thing happened when I came back to South Florida. They want you to wait. They want to bird feed me like I'm not even stumping. Like I ain't been over here going in on and the coaching style. It ain't nothing to get certified as a coach. But it is a lot when you put in that much time learning how to be a coach. Like you gotta pay that person. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it was a lot of disrespectful things. Like, and then I come from a real lineage of coaches, like real, I'm talking about Army, football, basketball, whatever you like, high end, whatever you want to name, track, whatever you calling it. This is stuff that I've been around, like, and I proved my own self. I got to be a head coach for the little league and for 1 year. I want to know if they still have that FBU. I will do that this year because that was one of the when I went to the practice. You had to be there to see it. Okay, they had the we had the tryouts. It was tryouts for real, but my team was already solidified because whoever whoever was that smart had that many connections to Broward. They sent me some. They sent me the best of the best, but my kids was still the best. They're at the top. So, but he was from Broward too. One of them was from Palm Beach. But the way it came out, and I had a young boy in my offensive lineman, D lineman. He probably was the best O-line D lineman. He didn't end up playing high school at the highest level, but he just started doing music and stuff. Shout out to him too. But I had some high level kids, some very, very intelligent. Look, they were smart. Look, smart, strong. Look, they all act like they coach. You know what I'm saying? So they all were super, super talented and gifted, man. And all of them still pretty successful. Hopefully, when you have success and that don't get deter you from being grounded and being humble. They still all under 25, so I know how that's gonna go. Hopefully they make it, when they get there, they're gonna have get that 25 range. They'll have a child or two. Some of them might be done got married, how that goes. So, it's still tough. And then I got a group of kids that's in my age, we're in 30, 31, 32, 33, some of them, maybe one or two of them my age, same age, because I told you I was in there 18. And they should have careers, and so I'm hoping they stay on track with what they chose to do in life. Some of them, I got to talk about it all the time. I got people still, they. When I went to Tally, I was coaching 6 and under softball girls, so these girls are only in middle school. And then I coached the same when I came for COVID. I coached a 7 and under in 2020, and these kids in middle school going to go to high school, and these are all talented. I had a guy that was like, I'm talking about, I could not, one was just super athletic, super talented. He played baseball and football. And then it was another guy that was just pure basketball. He just was that. He just had the toolbox for it. Like he was already mid range, post up, coming off the road, pulling up, talking about money. And we won. I talk about it all the time. So hopefully they stayed on track. They stayed, they got in the gym. And it's like different because when some of your friends start, they see you as a young person as the best, they get motivated to train, or they got to go get some other way of getting in a bag. And then I had a guy on the younger team that was 6. He was just as good as my 7-year-old. You feel me? So I remember how that was. They probably battling out in their neighborhood because they all stayed in the same area. They probably go to the same little. Hopefully they stayed in the area and they stayed on track with sports. They did. They tried to do them boy generation in with that COVID, and how that go stop them right. Stop right after that season. They had to sit in the house 2 years. So how that went. They could have easily got deterred. They had family issues. Anything could happen popping up. I just keep everybody that I ever coach in high spirits, and keep they just know they coach want them to win. That's the biggest thing for me. I'm being seen now, so hopefully they something click on their little on their screen, or they get in touch. They find out I'm doing a little podcast. I definitely mention them. And the girls, like I said, I'm heavily protected by. I did a great job, so I'm gonna have to get back on that softball. Especially coaching the younger, it's easy. Teaching the basics, teaching them how to swing, teaching them hustle. It was fun. I had fun doing that in Tally. Tally was the area that it's like the realm. It's like this thing from super bright lights to like super dark realm. It's like a thin line. Like you got to make real decisions, like to stay out of it. And I definitely know I did that. Like I definitely didn't have no issues though. I had some good people. I met some good people. I know how it goes when you're older around a younger. Some of them want to learn, and some of them they'll try to think they finessing the old head or some shit. So I just stayed to myself most of the time. And I had, that was fun, man. I go back to Tallahassee. I live in Tallahassee. I just want when I go back, I want to have like real money. I'll be at like FAMU and Florida State games all the time. I'll be acting like a regular because I'm from Florida, so that Tallahassee really is an extension of like Alabama. It really is like it operates on. Good thing it's our capital because it definitely operates on its own system. It's not a sundown town, but don't get caught in the wrong part of the neck of the woods over there because it definitely still white supremacist people winging around there looking for a duck black man. But it's pretty solid if you get around a good group of people, and it's just one that's part of that. And I ain't even, today is one of them days I feel like just talking about real life. I ain't gonna even go into the little political. I might ignore it for them for a whole month because I'm finna get on the field. I'm just talking about some real stuff. Now update. Since I'm signed up already for Little League, you don't need no real special, you know, trumpet and trample. I ain't committed fully to like a high school. I gotta go really. Oh, this will be a good day to just move around a little bit. I might go check some schools. If I go, I really, the school that really in this area in Palm Beach that I really, and I ain't being funny about this, the school that I really wanted to go to is Inlet Grove. The reason why I say that is because, like I said, the 12-year-old kids that I coach, they're 12 and 13 now, my bad. But the 7-year-old kids that I coach will probably have a couple of them. Now, it's not a great school, but it's like one of those you need like a coach like me and then a couple of teachers and a nice principal. And, we got to be in the community to stop and I'm pretty sure the trajectory has already changed. I remember them doing an event with middle schools there, so I think they're working on the band type of stuff over there, like they're doing in Broward, where they got the arts and stuff. But it's an older school, and it's like they bend the rules, but it's also a protected school because it's around the fire station, and then you got the wells over there. But once you go out into the neighborhood, you realize, oh, it's still tough over here in Riviera, and that's where the school is located. But I would love to go there because they're always short. And I don't even mind putting in the time. That's what I be trying to tell these coaches in these schools. This is okay. This is like 20 to 20. Okay, it's bigger. It's okay, depending on how many schools, however many I got. When it comes to helping communities, I have time for that. You know what I'm saying? It's part of my job as a man. I have to put my time somewhere that's productive. And They want you to say, "Oh, go get some money," and then where? Everything's built up. Go work on a construction site. They don't want me to do that. I work too fast. I don't work at the pace of the people that they sold out with. All kind of. I don't even be wanting to be told what to do anyway. So why y'all hating on how fast I work? That's the type of stuff that goes on at this young age. And I'm not being funny by that. It's just people that's gatekeeping stupid stuff like, how you stop me from making $12 an hour? Why are you stopping me from gaining? I have a relative that his certification is 25 or more already. That's what they're making him make $20 now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 21, depending on it's been a few years in between. Like it might not even be that, but he making decent, and he got a lot of right, but he earned it. It ain't like it was given to him. So I talked about him when he first got his real upgrade of financially, and he helped the family out. So but it's still jealous people. It's the same type of energy with me. People fake liking him, and he doesn't. He doesn't. He probably does. He probably mastered this stuff that I already knew. Where we talked about this stuff when we were little. I just talk to him all the time about it. I'd be like, man, you see how this goes? Like they got us competing with family, and then we come out here and when we stick together, we blow everybody out. So I'd be laughing. I used to talk to him just like this. I'm like, don't even worry about it, because everybody want to be winning. We already won. They already know we all of us on the same team means domination. Nobody else wins. And then this is like family, this in-house. Then when they spread us out, they got us in different sections and different, and then it looked like we all not on the, like that shit weird to me. I said to myself, I could easily win that battle. They know what I'm on. I could line them up. What you want to do is I choose to stay. I choose to just coach, and after that, I leave it at it. They know. I'm talking about. I got when they younger, you have more of a influence on them. The older they get, the more they realize, well, I have to step back, because I remember like it was yesterday. People thought I'm going against the area that I'm from by just coaching over here. What does that mean? Like I went back home, they over here talking crazy in the coach's room. I'm like, they can't be talking about me. I come on all the time. I'm like like they really put that energy out like that. Like when I come back, it's like everybody standing around not trying to give me real opportunity. Don't have nothing lined up for me. Everything I ever got opportunity I earned. People put me in position. I don't care what they say behind my back. They ain't better than me in it because they'll be doing it. They can't do it because they messed up somewhere down the line. And I'm still stumping. Whatever they try to do to stop me, I'm still able to do it. So I be looking at like, y'all ain't catching that yet? Like, you know what I'm saying? So, and then I look at it like, I'm finna have a big breakthrough. This is what I'm trying to say. The breakthrough I'm finna have when I lead it, when I go on this trip this time, it's not gonna be, you see how I'm talking about some real stuff, it's gonna be even realer. It's gonna be even more in detail. It's gonna be more, I ain't whoever's sitting over there looking stupid in that capital, I'm finna go at everybody over there. It's not even to be funny. I don't care how many people claim they only watch one person, two people. They'll get the message of one day. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't really be on all that. People can't be they don't even know why I'm agitated even more. I don't like how my grandparents have been treated. Like they don't understand that. Like it's not really. And then it be people trying to be like, you can't, like, I don't really, the agitation is very hot. And then it's like, I don't think me and my grandma had a real conversation. My mom's mom, like like when I was younger, I never had a fake conversation with my grandma a day in my life. I promise you. Since I was a baby. Until I never talked to me no kind of way but like a man, like I'm dead. And it wasn't no putting pressure on me. It was just real knowledge, real game. And it ain't never left me. It ain't never gonna leave me. She's still here strong. And then I don't like this energy with these stupid people talking about they got power. You don't have power. Boy, we appointed you, boy. We appointed you. Somebody put you in office. You ain't shit. You feel me? So I don't want nobody to even think this shit real high power over here, boy. And y'all owe bitch bonds, bitch. You owe me. Social security is a bond, but you better stop playing around here. I don't even got time for you. Like I'm finna really set a lot of shit straight. Bitch, your ass better be on a plane or a jet somewhere doing something amazing, bitch. But I'll get there. But yeah, I got 3 weeks, boy. Yeah. Crumb ass people coming out here playing around in Florida. Bitch, go back. You can't even go to New York. Bitch, you born there. Wherever you from, there you go here, got all these People playing around in the country, man. You playing around, you playing. So that'd be the main thing. Like I'd be agitated about that. People really out here playing around, talking about they got power. Bitch, you ain't got shit. You ain't got the people on your back. Bitch, you playing. That's fourth and foremost. And like I said, I don't need mind coaching or nothing and anything like that. So yeah, and it'd be people mad because I'm doing this. This is petty. Like I ain't even. But I get up there with a stand like I'm gonna go to Washington for real. Like I'm gonna crush them, bitch. I don't even know who. Bitch trying to get out my way. Bitch should have been got out my way. I'm 30-something years old. Bitch, you ain't even did it. You ain't even doing enough doing even standing my shoes. People been know I've been chilling. I'm talking about Ben. I never in my life, bitch. I'm talking about never. I never had a weak team. Never. I never even allowed a weak people to come around me. And if you was weak, you was a weak ass family member that's hating. That's about it. If you hating on me, that ain't my fault. I would never hate a family member. I ain't even never had the strength to hate on a family member. It's too much hating in the world to hate on a family member. So that shit weak. Whatever that was weak. But hey, yeah, all right, your face and uncover yourself weekly. That's how it be for real though. But anywho, like I said, they put two more executive orders out. We gonna stay current with it. I remember talking about this last week. Let's see. We have current issues. Popular documents. Remember we ran down some stuff. It's so many things that they need to actually do. They ain't get nothing knocked off. Current issues, 71 notes. Actually, they did. 91 documents, 71. It's down to 71 things that we have things to do. I'm actually spoke on that. So they must have got something done. Let's see what it is. Foreign trade is 71 things today. I think I think things change daily. I'm not sure. Drug enforcement agencies, 30-day notice, proposed information classification. I ain't really gonna go into that. I'm just gonna read these couple of established a White House office for special peace missions. That was the executive order. The White House Office for Special Peace Missions is in order to assist and bring about the end of conflict and strife. I use that word often, so I'm glad they might be listening over there. But I don't. But Clearwater, Florida, boy, stop playing, boy. You better make sure you go do some real. Boy, I'm talking about, boy. Yeah. About the end of the White House Office of Special Peace Missions shall be headed by the Special Envoy for Peace Missions, who shall be appointed by the President. The Special Envoy in Peace Missions shall advance efforts aimed at the ending ongoing conflicts abroad, and shall work toward these ends in the coordination with the Department of State and the Department of Defense and all the relevant executive departments and agencies. So they talking about special peace missions and this special peace group and this and that. They want to talk peace and sounds good. You know, he did an executive order for it. These are something that I'm going to make you stand on. So hopefully that thing get situated with this. I don't know what he mean by peace. You can't. You ever heard that term? Fight fire with fire. You cannot fight war with war and then add another war, then add that war, then start selling guns and then $100 billion war chest over here in that country and whatever you coming up with when you say you got more power. Hopefully that's not the word. Hopefully you coming up. Alligator Alcatraz is a prison for I don't know. It's in Florida. Hopefully you have some thought into when you call stuff peace. Let's read the definition of peace real quick. A portion of an object or of material produced by cutting. Hold on, let's see. Piece or breaking the whole piece of cheese. Okay, assembling something from individual parts. Extend something. A portion of an object or material produced by cutting, tearing, or breaking the whole. So when you piece, a piece is something that's a part of something. It's like a section of something. So piece, I don't think that's the right piece we looking for. That's the right. This the one that we looking for. He put piece. See, people don't get confused. See, they start. That is how you curse. That is how you curse. When they talk in a public forum and you talk like that, people look at that stuff that's not from this country and think peace. Take something. That's how he might be thinking when he first wrote that. And these people are not that unintelligent. These people have Ivy League degrees. So even if they pay for them, they had to sit in them classes. So, I'm not that naive. You know what I'm saying? So, when he say peace, he probably talking about the other ones. That's why I'll be thinking he wants something. He want to take something. But this is what he wrote. This is the piece he wrote. Freedom from disturbance, tranquility. That's the first definition for it. Number 2, a state or period in which there is no war or a war has ended. Peace. That's what he said. We make him stand on it. He said peace several times. He put it in the title. So he wrote the executive order. So he did the bill, and then he want peace now. He started 3 wars, then he want peace. He on the phone with you. He on the phone with Russia. He sided with Ukraine. He having a meeting with Israel. He want somebody else to do peace war. He sided with the people that probably attacked for America in that little country that's backed by 4 different countries in front of Israel. And then Iran over here in this big old country that they got to worry about this area, that area, that area, that area. They don't bump them, started a war over here. Russia, they said Russia did an attack on Ukraine and Ukraine for to respond. And whatever going on, they want peace now. They got their money. However they finna do what they finna do, they want peace still. I don't know. They started a lot of stuff before they said they want peace. But that's what it says. Hopefully it comes to fruition. And people get on board with peace. I'm with you if you want peace and prosperity and longevity and millions of years of wealth and health over here, especially for my side, my lineage and people very closely tied to me. I want to speak that definitely over here. So I don't know what they got going on, but I know what I'm trying to be on. Providing for revocation in Syria and sanctions. Let's read this whole one out. By authority vested in the president by the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America, including International Emergency Economic Powers Act. See, they like to throw the acts in there, and then they like to throw little side stuff in there. I ain't reading all that. This was a war in national defense. Now they got a lot of stuff that got to do with war and the code and what is it called 50, 60, whatever. I ain't gonna go act like I know what they talking about. I'm just gonna read it out. The Syria Accountability Lebanese Sovereignty Restoration Act of 2003. These people have sovereign people from Lebanese. They wrote a whole presidential. That's what I be talking about when they be doing them $100 billion deals. These are the countries that get a piece of that, a big piece. So like when they do these deals, they forget about the black and brown people that actually need those type of deals done yearly to make sure we get paid properly. Not come over here because these people gonna expect this to be law. This is the thing that they make a very short-sighted deals, and then they over here talking about peace, and then they over here starting stuff. They are agreeing with stuff. People that don't done stuff, they ain't did no research. They probably owe these people. He owes somebody business. So he want them to he writing them on some laws and agreements and to give all our guns and money to these people without us knowing. But he put it out there. So let's read it. Let's continue. Um, the Syria Accountability Lebanese Biological Weapons Control and Warfare Elimination Act 1991. Caesar Syria Civil Protection Act 2019 as amended. The Illicit Captive Gun Trafficking Suppression Act of 2023 and Section 301 of Title 3 United States Code is hereby ordered. So all that stuff, they want us to make sure that is what they're standing on. These are the acts and laws that are already in place. And now this is the executive order that we have to stand on all these acts and laws that were already put. The ones that was put here in 1991, 2023, 2019 during COVID or right before COVID, the act was passed. And then in 2003, who was the president in 2003? Anybody know? Anybody know? I know who the president was. So the people who made an agreement and a law with the Lebanese people was no. The person who did that was George Bush, the son. So he made an agreement with these people after blowing up a lot of those people over there in Middle East. Not because of his problem, but because they was already plotting and planning and had disagreement with his dad and Bill Gates and all that stuff then came out. It wasn't really Bill Gates, it was his wife. And y'all know how the story goes. All this stuff it is what it is. So let's continue reading it. Background of it. The United States is committed to supporting Syria that is stable, unstable, unified, and at peace with itself and its neighbors. The United Assyria that does not offer a safe haven for terrorist organizations and ensure security of its religious and ethnic minorities will support regional security and prosperity. The Secretary of State and Secretary of Treasury has taken initial steps towards this goal through the issuance on May 23rd, 2025, a General License 25 and waiver of sanctions under the Caesar Act. Y'all hear that? Under the Caesar Act. All right, but it sounds like they just made an agreement, make sure everything that they wrote into law be executed to what they needed to be done. They made a weapons agreement with Syria because they claim that it's at peace and it doesn't have any issues with other neighbors. That could easily change. I want them to remember this because if they start having issues, they know who did it. You know what I'm saying? All these laws and stuff are stuff people have been involved in wars. People have passed, and it's I don't know if they're gearing up or they trying to not I don't know, trying to say sorry before something happened. But hopefully everything moves to the best of the people. So I ain't gonna say my people, they people, or this people, but hopefully it's for the better. And I think people really don't want. I already know what the issue is. When you have kept the African descended people down here in America down so long, it's so hard for them to see all these people in unison at the they got the Black Caucus in the down there in the Capitol in DC and stuff. And it's so many, it's not as unified until they all meet and it looks like they're going against this person, but this person played both sides. It's like documented, like this guy literally both sides. So he became president because he played both sides, and then he's like, no, I'm on one side now. Yeah, like white power, white supremacist, Ku Klux Klan. Yeah, like that's how he's like, bro, you wouldn't even been in the office if we would have voted you in. Like, and then your cabinet is that weak, and it was weak in the first time. So, like, I don't know. I just look at it from a not inside, but from like a understanding of the inside a little bit that I learned in school. So, he made agreement with another country, and hopefully, hopefully we survive here in the United States. Cause he don't get it. Like that's how spiritual warfare happens when you make agreements like these federal agreements, man. That shit is deep. He makes so many agreements, it's not even funny. It's like it was with. But hey, My time is up today here on live. I know I ain't get the sports enough, but this is Dynasty Podcast. I'm your host, Ira Bush. I appreciate and I thank y'all very much for listening. This is definitely finna end, so shout out to y'all. And I'm finna end it right here on my YouTube as well. Cause I finished talking about what I want to talk about politics wise. So thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for listening. We'll be back tomorrow. And y'all just keep, man. I be wanting people to reach out. I want to say this. I be on TikTok, like I said, my the it's more of people claim that they with you and they trying to take from you at the same time. I have that issue going on still in Florida. And they from Florida, they probably moved to different states, they probably doing cross-hand and cross-behind ass shit. I can't explain it. They could still be here. They don't show face. They don't show support. People want. It ain't making it don't add up with the type of stuff that they do. People have this. People have this sense that what they do doesn't. It's what their goal or whatever it is way better than your goal or what it is. But I don't look at it like that. I look at it like everybody have a job. Everybody have different opinions, and then it's like. It's not. It does not. It don't add up. Like you have not showed that you even care about anything that I have on, and I haven't even showed my hand to the biggest picture of what I call success. So I don't mind people believing that I don't have a vision. It doesn't matter. I could do a vision board and show you what I be thinking about. You still might not understand. You know what I'm talking about? And it don't have nothing to do with it's like when people say, like, if I was born, I never was my lineage was never separated from my African roots. And we stayed there and procreated, and we just was roaming in Africa. We was there through the wars, whatever it may went on. It probably wouldn't even been a war if they hadn't really came over there trying to the Europeans had to come over there. And I know what happened. They got like, you go to sleep, you go like, these people are this convenient weak people. You know what I'm saying? They come over there weaker than. And then it was like, oh, over time they come visit. They come know what you got going on. You share some knowledge with them. And then boom, they come bring a whole goddamn on guns. And we over here chopping wood and goddamn on spears and stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's really what it described it as. But and we taught them so much, so they learned a lot. And you know how it goes. They captured the strongest in the what they did when they when they did the slave trade. The strongest was stolen and neutered and brainwashed, and we had to fulfill for coming to the society. And then we ended up going for making it federal. And then they did all these documents, and why we can't go back without even getting looked like the eye at. They got all kind of special ways into attacking us because we've been here so long. And it's getting back to it. It's gonna become. It's gonna get full. When it's gonna come full circle. So, but that's it for today. This is Dynasty, the podcast show. I'm your host, Ira Bush. Thank y'all for listening, tuning in. I'll see y'all tomorrow, and we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be good.